Hi, welcome to OMAT. Let's get organized. These are the tools that have helped me get organized. And one of the tools is the principle of OMAT, 1 minute at a time. I don't know if you know this about me. I was a mess growing up, like a actual physical mess. My room was always a mess. My notes for school were all over the place, and it absolutely translated into adulthood. My mail was a mess. My paperwork was a mess. And once we started going digital, that became a mess as well. So it was just overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I bought tools, the same as I bought as I was a kid. Like I always had good intentions. So when I was a kid, I bought the right folders and I was going to do everything correct. And I got so overwhelmed being perfect, I didn't even start. As a grown-up, I did the same thing. I bought the tools to organize my mail and my paperwork, and I just have a few different sets of organizational tools that I never even started. I really want these kinds of things to be perfect. And when I can sense, when I know, and even when I start, I don't start because I know it's not going to be perfect. So to get over this, I got myself off the hook. I don't have to be perfect. In fact, I know it's going to be bad. So what I did was I took one of the tools for organizing the mail and I was starting with labeling them. And I said, this label is going to look awful. It's going to be terrible, but I will have a place to put this stuff in. And it looked terrible. My handwriting somehow got from okay to completely bad, but I understood what the word said and I kept going. It gave me just enough satisfaction to keep moving. And it gave me just enough relief to know that I don't have to be perfect in order to actually get started on a task. So let's get started. Let's do everything imperfectly. First, we have to connect our body and mind. What does that mean? It sounds like a bunch of hippie woo-woo, but you know what could happen. We stand there or sit there, our bodies are present, but our mind is somewhere else. So we align the thought with the physical self. What we do is we look around and we notice a few physical things around us, maybe a bottle of water on our desk, maybe our screen and what's in the corner, whatever it is. And then we notice we're here, we're present, and we can get into our first exercise of gratitude. Now we're practicing, let's practice imperfectly. Let's look for something wonky to be grateful for, something that maybe normally wouldn't hit our list, just to try it out, to know we can erase it in our mind. It doesn't have to count. Let's try it out by looking for any piece of gratitude right now. Let's wrap the first exercise just for now. We get to have some water and we get to move along. Remember, progress, not perfection. It doesn't have to look like anything specific. Let's get into our meditation. What's the progress here? How can we have any progress when we are actually physically pausing, mentally pausing? We're saying, I'm deciding to think about this. And that gives us some of the only control that we will ever have in this life. That control is over what's happening in your mind. And it's an exercise for a reason. It is challenging. Let's sit and decide. Maybe we're focusing on our inhale and exhale. And every time we escape that thought, the exercise is to come back to it. Let's try it out. Sitting in any comfortable position, eyes opened or closed, breathe. As we come back, let's find our water. We're taking sips of water, and we are inserting that act of taking a sip of water as our go-between. That is setting up this rule that when we take a drink of water, we allow that thing that we just did to let go, and we're ready for the next thing. Let's go into our writing. Now, a lot of times when I'm meditating, that's when the thoughts start coming in. So if that is what's happening to you, but when you go to write, you freeze, then meditate for 10 seconds, allow those thoughts to come in. And worst case scenario, you meditated for 2 minutes. We're going to forgive you. It's all right. Try whatever you want to try. Experiment and write. Let's wrap for now. And we're learning to wrap, even if we're not done. Let's wrap it up, have some water, and keep going. We're sharpening our mind, and now we have the capability to tell our body to move, and we're going to listen. That's what we're practicing here. Let's do a sun salutation, but more importantly, let's convince ourselves with the control that we have over our mind and body, let's convince ourselves to start. Let's take that action. Stand if you can stand and inhale the arms up. Reach up, look up, feel that deep inhale and keep inhaling when you think you can't anymore, and then exhale, fold forward. And with a rounded back, you're hanging over your feet. Your arms are nice and loose. When you're ready, halfway lift with a flat back. Your back is now parallel to the ground. Look up. And let's get into our high plank. Plant your palms down right where they are and step your feet back into a high plank. Then with elbows as near to your body as possible, lower slowly all the way down. Then push against the floor, look up, chest up, and let's meet in down dog. Bend your knees and then pick up your hips. You're now in an upside down V with your body, getting your heels as close to the ground as you can. Then walk forward towards your hands and start coming up, meeting your palms above the head again and exhaling them down to the center of the chest. And let's have some water. And maybe you realize some of the poses you like more than others. You can stay in the poses that you like more than others. You can keep everything even. We are experimenting. Let's have some water and let's move into our plank pose in a moment. First, we are getting into the right mind and the physical setup that will help us move into the plank when it's time. What does that look like? Maybe you're on your knees. Maybe you're standing waiting for the countdown. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1, up in plank pose right now. What we're practicing, aside from using all of our muscles all at once, which is really amazing, and now for 10 seconds, but we're also practicing doing a task when it's time to do a task, and right now it's the plank task. So if you're in it, congrats, that's 20 seconds. If you have not started, here is your chance to experiment, saying, I want to do this, and we have 30 more seconds, so I'm going to start now. I'm not going to convince myself it's too late. I'm not going to convince myself to sit here and feel guilty. I'm going to get in the plank for the last 20 seconds. And if you've been in that plank pose all this time, woo-wee, congratulations. Do you have just a little bit more? 10 seconds. Ask yourself that. Answer with a yes and see where that takes your body. For 3, 2, 1, and you're done. Come down off your plank. Take a moment to catch your breath. We're not in a rush. Maybe stretch your way back using a pose or two from the sun salutation. Have some water, have some credit. Feel that feeling if you got into that plank, like, oh, I did that. Let's keep going and break some procrastination. All of these practices help us make this decision by saying, when it's time to break a procrastination, to take a small action, here's my practice, how to find that small action and how to start that small action. Let's take that experiment by looking for a task to do and do it now. Let's wrap for now. Have some water. And have a little credit. As simple as these exercises are, they're challenging, each and every one of them, simple and challenging for multiple reasons. This one is, we had to make something count for 1 minute, and we had to decide what that one thing would be. That takes some mental and physical energy, and that's fine. Let's keep doing it, completely not perfect, and move on. Let's practice that moving on muscle and get into our connection minute. Let's think vulnerably. Think, who are my friends? Who do I get in touch with for this feeling? Who can I laugh with? Can I use a therapist? Is there something to say to that person? We don't have to come up with all the answers, but being in that question mindset, that's part of the exercise. Let's get into that muscle right now. Let's wrap that thought for now. Just know everything is for now. For now, let's wrap and let's practice moving on, have a little bit water, and start moving. We're going right away. 3, 2, 1. Move your body in any way it allows you to move it. So if you could walk around, walk around. If you can do jumping jacks, do them. If you can just dance, move it any which way. We're 10 seconds in. And of course, it's not too late to start. And of course, if you're not doing this perfect, you're doing it great. That's 20 seconds in. Now, this is the final exercise. Let's practice generating enough exercise even for the final task. That's 30 seconds left. What we're doing is we're practicing giving each of our tasks the energy, starting it, doing it, and finishing it. And we have 20 seconds left. How do you want those 20 seconds to be? How can you practice putting your energy into what you're doing? Let's practice for 10 more seconds. We're almost done. Let's give it all we have for 3, 2, 1, and you're done. Great job. No matter how imperfect, if you manage to start one or more of these exercises, how does that feel? Thank you for being part of the OMAT program today.